Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatu no Jagatraya Guruhu Krishnam Namasyamyaham Krishne Namarasitro Vinihataha Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam Krishnasya Dasosmiham Krishne Tisthati Vishwametadakhilam He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. The blessings of Sri Chinajya Swamiji. We're continuing Bhagavad Gita. We're in chapter 14. We finished sloka 13. We'll start from 14 today. We'll have a quick review of what we learned in the last session. There are several questions that I sent in WhatsApp, but primarily, there are three most important things that we need to learn about the three gunas, right? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So the basic question that we get is, what is Sattva, what is Rajas, and what is Tamas? And primarily, who is a Sattvic person, right? Or what determines a person as Sattvic, okay? And who is a Rajasic person and who is a Tamasic person. If we know, then we can evaluate ourselves and we can evaluate, we can mix with people who we want to be, right? I mean, we will be careful about the influence of the gunas, okay? So, who is a Sattvic person? Anyone?
Attachment to knowledge. Who has that knowledge of self, right? Self, and who does karma yoga? Right?
Okay.
And who eats sattvic food?
Free from evil.
Okay. One primary characteristic of a Sattvic person, or when Sattva is dominant in a person.
Happiness. Right?
Purity, yeah. The pure.
They try to acquire knowledge. They will be able to understand, internalize, acquire this knowledge. Atmagnan.
Acquire the knowledge and practice also.
Practice also.
So when the wisdom is revealing through all the senses.
Or the 9 Navadvaya.
Yeah. So that is the primary way to determine, when a Sattva is dominant. I mean, we also learned that Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are all combined. At any point of time, one quality is more dominant over the others, right? Is predominant compared to the other two. So when Sattva is dominant is when the wisdom is revealing through all the senses, that we learned. And when is Rajas dominant? When can we say this person is Rajasic at this moment?
A desire for all the sensory experiences.
Action.
Okay.
Karma. Doing that all the time in action, right? Yeah. And he's doing the work without any meaningful purpose, right?
Yes.
And he's doing, like Paramji explained, right? For desires, right? Materialistic, for happiness, right?
Yes.
Self-happiness. But karma sangyana, right? So he's more towards action.
Right.
Action dominating. And action for the sake of desires, right? To fulfill his desires. His happiness is from the desires.
Right. So when we have strong desire to possess what belongs to others, stingy, and I want everything for myself, or I want something that belongs to others. I want to have it, right? So that is one. Tendency to be active. Okay. tendency to be active without a purpose, or something that is useless, not useful activity. Okay. And basically working with a desire, working to fulfill our desires, desire oriented. Okay. And having the senses under control, always active senses. Okay. And basically craving for sensory pleasures. So enjoyment.
Can you also say attachment to family, children, binding, like more attachments?
Excessive attachment. Yeah.
Excessive attachment.
Yeah. So beyond the duties, right? So, or that is interfering with the duty. So that is, say, for example, I mean, can take the example of Dhritarashtra in that case, like excessively attached to his son, even though son is doing something wrong. Okay, and he was keeping the duty aside. Okay. Okay, and who is a tamasic person, or when tamas is dominant in a person?
Even Dhritarashtra can come under tamasic, Kalandi.
Yeah, tamasic also. Ignorant and I mean, not able to see things clearly. Okay, I gave you one of the answers. Yes. So who is a tamasic person?
Lack of attention, laziness, right?
Yes.
Right.
Not making any sense function.
Yes.
Not able
Pramada,
to see things clearly.
Mada.
yes.
The Preta Gnana also.
Yes. Delusion, perverse knowledge. Who is not able to see things clear. Not understanding is one level. Second level is to understand it in an opposite way, or applying something in a way that is incorrect.
Right.
Okay. Getting false perceptions. And so all this is perverse knowledge, right? Primarily out of ignorance and carelessness. I mean, not carelessness is not just casual carelessness. Basically, we have to do some activity, but doing something that is different from that activity. If I mean, we have a duty to do, but not doing that, being careless about it, not attentive. All these are tamasic. Okay. Any questions before we start?
So we should have tamas only during sleep, right? I think other day pretty much you should be out of that.
Yeah, so that is the duty that we have towards the body, right? So at that moment, it is tamasic, right? But we are not attached to it. So someone who is always craving to be lazy, sleepy, or sleeping more than what they are supposed to, becomes a tamasic. Okay. So obviously, when somebody is sleeping, they're not doing any other activity than just sleeping, right? But it is not negative thing. It is the duty that one is doing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. So, but if let us say, during daytime or when they're supposed to work, they're sleeping or lazy, then it is, tamasic. Tamas is dominant at that time, you can say, in a negative sense. Okay, so we will start sloka 14. Okay, I'll share my screen. Hope you can see.
We can see.
Lord Krishna is continuing. Please chant. Yada sattve pravruddhe tu
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
pralayam yati dehabhrit
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान्
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान्
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
Chant together.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
Pralayam
प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
There's some spelling mistakes in that. Yeah. Okay. So Lord Krishna is saying, Yada sattve pravruddhetu pralayam yati dehabhrit. Dehabhrit pralayam yati. Okay. Embodied self. Dehabhrit is embodied self. We are the embodied self. Okay. Pralayam yati attains dissolution. Yada, when. So when we attain dissolution, that means when we leave this body. Okay. Sattve pravruddhe. Sattva is dominant. When sattva is on rise, tada, then what happens? Uttama vidam amalan lokan pratipadyate. Okay. That one attains ignorance-free groups of beings. Uttama vidam amalan lokan. Lokan is groups of beings, right? Uttama vidam amalan lokan is ignorance-free groups of beings who know the highest. Uttama vidam, who know the highest. Okay. Amalan is, ignorance-free, not having, impurities. Okay, so that is ignorance-free. So one whose characteristic, or one who is dominant in sattva at the time of leaving, okay, or whose sattva quality is dominant at the time of leaving the body, that one attains the next life, where they will take birth in a family that knows about the Atma. They have the Atma knowledge, who know the highest. That is the Atma knowledge. Atma, Paramatma. So who have the knowledge of the three realities, that we can say. Right? So when Sattva is dominant, we take birth in a family who know about Atma, and who are practicing the principles of self-realization, God realization. So then what happens?
You'll reach higher states when you leave.
So automatically we will start practicing those, right? So one thing we need to very clearly understand is, based on the qualities that are dominant in the previous life, we get the next life in a group of beings that are practicing similar values. Here in this case, the Sattva. So we take birth in a group of beings that are practicing similar values. So we automatically acquire those. We are eligible to do those activities, isn't it? So one who takes birth in a family, that family has a family business. What happens typically?
You'll go into the business.
They practice the family business, right? So for somebody who is outside, who has no connection with that business, it becomes difficult for them to get into that family business. I'm just taking that as an example, right? So all of us are born with certain duties assigned to us. Those duties are based on our birth itself, and we are taking birth in a family that practices those duties, and those duties are automatically assigned to us. Okay, somebody may say, oh, why should that be, right? Why should there be a restriction? It's not a restriction. It is it's a qualification that we got. Based on the qualifications that we have, we got the opportunity. We are assigned this particular duty, which becomes easy for us to practice, right? So if somebody who has a qualification of a let's say software engineer, suddenly put that person in a hospital surgery room, can they do the surgery? They'll run away from it, right? It's not feasible for that person. So we are born into a group of beings. We are born into the family. That family is assigned a certain duty. The duties are passed on to the future generations. So we automatically practice those principles. And so basically, if we are taking birth in a family that is practicing sattvic principles, then we automatically become sattvic, isn't it? We will learn about, say, for example, someone who takes birth in a family that is already aware of Bhagavad Gita, practicing Bhagavad Gita, they will automatically, start practicing Bhagavad Gita from childhood. Learning Bhagavad Gita, start practicing Bhagavad Gita. That's just an example. Sattvic principles are basically to understand the three realities, understand about ourselves, Paramatma, and practice Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, right? So we would get that opportunity. Now, what we do with that opportunity is left to that person again. Okay. So when Sattva is dominant, and the person leaves the body, one who leaves the body while Sattva is dominant, they will take birth in a family who knows the highest, which is the Atma Jnana, Paramatma Jnana. Okay.
చిన్న క్వశ్చన్ అండి, అంటే Sometimes you see, right, parents are very pious, but we see children, like, in a wrong direction, going in a wrong direction. We all, even in Telugu also, we have a saying, right? Pandita Putra Paramasundha. That's also there. So, there is a reason why that child is born in that, right? I mean, in a pious family, still he's going in a different direction. Is again like prarabdha, I mean, karma. I mean, is birth also like a karmic thing? He's going in a different direction also.
So it may happen temporarily. We may see that person may be deviating because of the other influences, right? Or the parents are not able to properly propagate that knowledge.
Mm.
Okay, so for various reasons, the kid may not be interested in practicing the principles. However, there are a lot of examples where when they grow up, they got back into what they are supposed to, because that is their natural tendency. Okay, so it is not that they will totally, I mean, there's no guarantee. We all have opportunities, and we all have our choices we can choose, right? Again, finally, what happens is Paramatma's blessings, but we have a choice. We are the approvers, right? Atma is the approver. So we either have a choice to practice those principles or not, right? And if for some reason we do not, at a later stage, it is possible that we may start practicing again. And it becomes natural. It doesn't take long time.
Yeah.
So it may not be that. I mean, if you are looking from a materialistic perspective, that is different, right? So father is a professor in a particular materialistic science, right? So it's they're could be categorized as Rajasic as well.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. So it is not so here what we are talking about is the knowledge of the self, So if Sattva is dominant, we are taking birth in a family or a group of families, or we are in an environment where we get the opportunity to practice those, develop and practice the Sattva principles.
Can we say to some extent free will? I know we have yes and no answer, we can say.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has opportunity. So if anyone wants to become Sattvic, they have the option, right? So it's not that there is some restriction. But one who is Sattvic, it is not random that they will get some kind of birth, that there's no control, right? So even though there are so many species in this world in various combinations of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, right? And it is possible, like if you take the probability, what is the probability that one will become, have a Sattvic quality in the next life?
Yeah.
We may think, oh, it's 0%, right? I mean, close to 0%, because could be any being in this universe, but it is not the case. So we shouldn't be worried that, oh, whatever I'm trying to, I'm basically having Sattvic dominance, right? So I'm Sattva, I have Sattvic qualities. If I have Sattvic qualities, I need not be worried what my next life would be, is another way of looking about it. So it is not that whatever I do in this life, because these qualities are related to the body, right? So if sattva is dominant, the question comes like, what would be the quality that I would have next life? So I would have the opportunity to continue the sattvic principles, sattvic practices, and develop sattvic qualities.
Yes, sir, I see.
So one who is rajasic or tamasic also can do it, and they will also get sattvic in the next life, get the opportunity to practice sattvic principles next life. Again, what they do with those opportunities could be, it's left to that person.
Thank you.
Okay, so next sloka, sloka 15. Please chant. Rajasi pralayam gatva
Rajasi
Pralayam gatva
karma sangishu jayate
कर्म संगिषु जायते
tatha pralenastamasi
तथा
प्रलीनस्तमसि
प्रलीनस्तमसि
मूढयो निषु जायते.
मूढयोनिषु जायते
जायते
Let's chant together.
रजसि
Rajasi
प्रलयं
प्रलयं
pralayam
गत्वा
गत्वा
karma
karma
कर्मसङ्गिषु
sangishu
जायते
jayate
तथा
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
praleenastamasi
Budhayo
मूढयोनिषु
मूढयो निषु
जायते.
jayate. So when sattva is dominant and the that self, embodied self, leaves the body, then that self, that Atma will take a body which is entitled, which is assigned the duties of a sattvic person. So take birth in a family which is already having the knowledge. They have the knowledge of the self and Paramatma, and they are sattvic, and the person will continue sattvic. Now, what happens if the person rajasic guna is dominant? Rajas is dominant in a person, and the person leaves. So Lord Krishna is saying, Rajasi pralayam gatva. When Rajas is dominant, and that self, after attaining dissolution, after leaving the body, while the Rajas quality is dominant, karma sangishu jayate. One is born among those who work with attachment to the results, or attachment for the sake of results. So karma sangishu, they're attached to the work and to the results. Okay, or they do the work for the sake of results, and they're attached to the work. Okay, so when Rajas is dominant, we take birth in among those who are Rajasic, because we learned who is a Rajasic person, or when we can say Rajas is dominant in a person. One of the characteristics is that person is doing the work for the sake of results only, or doing the work with attachment. Okay, so and they're activity oriented. They're attached to the activities. Okay, so Rajas quality person takes birth in, you can say, Rajasic families. And Tatha, similarly, Tamasi Pralinaha Mudhayonishu Jayate. Tamasi is one whose tamas is dominant. You know, Lord Krishna is giving a shortcut there, because earlier he talked about when sattva is dominant, that person takes birth. Here he's just saying, just like a formula. So tamas pralinaha, one who attains dissolution, mudhayonishu jayate, that person, that atma is born among those species, no, not family, among those families or among those groups of beings who are lacking intelligence. Mudha, yonishu, those beings who lack intelligence, like animals, insects, and birds. So when tamas is dominant and the atma leaves the body, then they take birth as animals, birds, insects, and other beings who have no opportunity to like get this atma knowledge. Right? Got it? This tamas is very dangerous. Okay, sloka 16. Please chant. Karmana supratasyahu
कर्मणः
Karmana sukrutas
कृतस्याहुः
satvikam nirmalam phalam
सात्विकं
sattvikam
निर्मलं
nirmalam
फलम्
rajasastu phalam dukkham
रजसस्तु
rajasastu
फलं
phalam
दुःखम्
dukkham
ajnanam tamasah phalam.
अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
phalam
Let's chant together.
Karma
कर्मणः कृतस्याहुः सात्विकं
sattvikam
निर्मलं
nirmalam
फलम्
phalam
रजसस्तु फलं
rajasastu
दुःखम्
dukkham
अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
phalam. Okay. So we learned about where the sattva, rajas, and tamas persons will take birth in their next life, or what kind of duties that will be automatically assigned to them in their next life, or what would be the tendency for them to continue in their next life. That we'll learn. Then in this sloka, Lord Krishna is saying, what is the result if one is having sattva dominance? What is the result? Rajas dominant, what is the result? And tamas dominant, what is the result? Okay, Lord Krishna is saying, Sukrutasya karmana phalam satvikam nirmalam. Phalam is the fruit. Sukrutasya karmana, fruit of the work done well. Sukruta. Sukrutasya, of the work done well. Okay, Sukrutasya phala, karmana. So the fruit of the work that is done well, what is that fruit? Satvikam nirmalam, is of the nature of sattva and pure. Okay. So Lord Krishna is saying that when the work is done well, So what is the work that is done well?
The karma phalta ಆಗಿದೆ. So what else? Satvika, not what else?
Yes. Yeah. Without attachment to the results, as service to God. Doing the work as service to God without attachment. So nishkama karma. Okay. And serving as worship to God. So if we are working, if we do the work like that, then the fruit, the result is pure. That is free from misery, free from binding. So, I mean, there's slight difference here. So, Satvikam is mentioned here. So, if knowledge is, if wisdom is coming out of all my senses, right? Like if I'm having the Atma knowledge, okay, Paramatma knowledge, if I have the knowledge of the three realities and all that we learn, with that result, I'm doing some work. So with that knowledge, I'm doing the work. Okay. So that work which is done well. So that means applying the knowledge of the self. If I do the work, then what is the result I'm going to get? The result is pure, free from memory, misery, free from misery and not binding. Okay. And rajasaha phalam dukkham. Fruit of rajas
Yes.
is misery. So apply the same logic. So if I have rajas quality or the rajas is dominant and I'm doing the activity with that means I'm doing the activity for the sake of results, for my own enjoyments, for sensory pleasures. If I am doing like that, what I'm going to get is dukkham, misery. Okay. And tamasaha phalam ajnanam. The fruit of tamas is ignorance. So ignorance develops. Okay.
I mean, he's saying like in a following janma, right? Like if you do, it's say this janma, depending on the quality of the thing, the next janma. So that's the reason, right? Sukha dukkhala karanam ade antara.
Yeah. Yeah, very good point. So, yeah, it is not directly given there, but the result that whatever life that I'm going to get in the next life, okay, that will lead me to not having the binding because I'm going to practice the Sattva principles. I'm going to have knowledge of the self, right? And I will be assigned duties which will let me continue the practices and develop the sattvic qualities, again, right? So I will not be bound. So basically, I will go upwards. That's what next Lord Krishna says. So the result of me having a sattva quality, okay, sattva dominance in my life, is that I'm going to be finally be free from binding. Okay. Free from misery. My next life will be free from misery, free from binding. Doesn't mean that I will not be hungry. Those things will be there, right? but we will move in the direction towards liberation. Okay. So we will not be getting into this cycle, we will not be entangling ourselves in this cycle of births, rebirths. And Rajas is Dukkham, will continue in that cycle of getting birth in a family where you're again working for the results, for the sake of results, for enjoyments, right? And acquire more karmic bondage because of that. Then take another birth again, where you'll acquire more karmic bondage. So continuously, like acquiring more and more and more karmic bondage. That is Rajas. And Tamas is completely going downwards. Like they will, it will lead to complete ignorance. So with no opportunity to, with very less opportunity to go up again.
What would you call if someone has a fear of losing in everything, sir? Like he or she might be a sattvic person, but like every moment, like whether I should say like stability or in life or sthirata or losing, a fear of losing, like that way you act, even take friendship or something, other relations.
Yeah, Rajas. Yeah,
That's
yeah. Unfortunately, these are not easy. Sattvic is not easy.
mm, okay.
So basically, having attachment, right?
Okay.
That is primarily attachment only.
Right.
You
Right.
know. So if that attachment is very difficult to go away.
Mm,
It's not that we should be totally, running away from everything. We have to do our duties. There is a difference between doing the duty without attachment and having attachment and not doing the duty. Right? Both are opposites. And having attachment is troubling.
that makes sense.
Okay, next sloka. Sloka 17. Listen. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम्
rajaso lobha eva cha
रजसो लोभ एव च
pramadamोहौ tamaso
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः
bhavato jnanameva cha.
भवतो
भवतो
ज्ञानमेव
ज्ञानमेव
च
च
Let's say together. Sattvat
सत्त्वात्
sanjayate
संजायते
जायते
ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानं रजसो
रजसो
लोभ एव च
लोभ
लोभ
एव च
एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसो
तमसो
Bhavato
भवतो
भवतो
ज्ञानमेव च
ज्ञानमेव च
Yeah, we can say tamasaha or tamaso, both are fine. Pramadamohau tamasaha. That's fine. Okay, Lord Krishna is saying, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. From sattva, knowledge is born. Okay. And rajasaha lobhaha. From rajas, greed or covetousness. So having desire for wealth or possessions that belong to others. I want what they have, right? So rajas will develop that. From rajas, greed is born. And tamasaha, pramada, moha, ajnanam. From tamas, pramada is inattention, carelessness. Moha is delusion, contrary knowledge. Something different from the reality. Okay, getting the recognizing something as different from what is real. Okay, delusion and ignorance. Ajnanam is ignorance. So these three are born from tamas. Inattention, delusion, and ignorance. Okay. So basically, if sattva is dominant, if I have sattvic quality, we take birth in like sattvic family, or we get sattvic duties. From that, over a sequence of births, what happens? We get the knowledge of the self. Knowledge is born. Okay. And rajas leads one to become more and more greedy, more and more, they want to have things what others have. I mean, they're basically becoming more and more entangled in the materialistic, pleasures, right? And tamas, over a period of time, it is leading one to inattention, delusion, and ignorance. Okay, team. Please chant. Urdham gachanti sattvasthaha.
Urdhvam
गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्थाः
Madhye tishtanti rajasaha.
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
Jaghanya guna vruttisthaha.
जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः
Adho gachanti tamasaha.
अधो
अधो
गच्छन्ति
गच्छन्ति तामसाः
तामसाः
Let's chant together.
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्थाः मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः
अधो
अधो
गच्छन्ति
गच्छन्ति
तामसाः
तामसाः
So Lord Krishna is saying, Urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha. Those who are established in sattvasthaha, established in sattva. So those who are established in sattvic quality, urdhvam gachanti, go upwards. Okay. So they take higher births. Or like imagine sattva is dominant, take sattvic birth again, then take sattva is dominant and take another sattvic birth. So they go higher and higher. They take higher births. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. Those who have have rajas, those who abide in rajas, madhyatishtanti rajasa. What happens? They will stay in the middle. Okay. So one who is established in sattva will go upwards, take higher births. One who is rajasic will stay in the middle. Okay. And jaghanya guna vrittisthaha tamasaha adha gachanti. Tamasaha adha gachanti. Very easy. Those who have tamasic dominance will go downwards, will take lower births. Okay. Jaghanya guna vrittistaha means being engaged in inferior and despicable activities. Okay. So Rajasic person may be doing the duties, but doing with attachments. So they will continue to acquire karmic bondage, but they're not acquiring so much. It's because they have Rajasic again. They continue to take birth in a similar whatever they are doing, right? So let's say someone who is a human being is doing the duty, but unfortunately doing it as a, with attachment, with the lack of knowledge of self and Paramatma, doing it for the sake of materialistic pleasures. They will continue in the same life. They will remain in that middle layer. And Tamasic will go downwards. They will do activities which are not assigned to them, which are inappropriate. Okay, so they will do inferior and despicable activities. Okay. So then they will go downwards. So Sattva person will gradually move towards getting liberation, right? Rajasic person will continue, like in life. If they don't change course, they'll continue in that life infinitely. Okay, because they'll continue to acquire karmic bondage and they will never go up. And Tamasic is very difficult for them to even go to the stage of having the opportunity to get the knowledge. So there are 3 levels of existence: higher level, middle level, and lower level. You can see it that way. All the beings in this world can be split into those 3 levels. Okay. And having sattvic quality is always the best. Right? Okay. Next sloka. Please chant. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram
नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारम्
यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति
यदा
द्रष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं
वेत्ति
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
मद्भावं
मद्भावं
सोऽधिगच्छति.
Nanyam
Nanyam
gunebhyः
गुणेभ्यः
kartaram
Yada
कर्तृपश्यति
Gune
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति
अधिगच्छति. Lord Krishna is saying, Yada drashtanupasyati. Na anyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashta anupasyati. So, yada drashta na anupasyati. Okay. Yada means when. So, drashta is the enlightened one, the one who is a seer, right? Seer, one who is enlightened. Okay, one who is established in sattva, having the knowledge of the self is drashta. Okay, na anupasyati, does not perceive. Anyam gunebhya kartaram, other than the gunas, as the doer. Anye, anyam gunebhya, other than the gunas, kartaram, as the doer. So when the seeker of Atma, or when the one who is the seer of the self, one who is enlightened, okay, when they do not perceive other than the gunas as the doer. So that means they perceive gunas as the doer, right? Got it? So when they do not perceive anything other than gunas as the doer, so they have no doubt that gunas are the doers. Are the reason guna, the qualities of Prakriti are the agents of our activities. We learned that earlier. Okay? And gunebhyaha param veti. Know that Atma is superior than the gunas. Gunebhyaha, than the gunas. Param is superior. Veti. Know that. See, we are talking about them, the Atma, right? So the enlightened one sees gunas as the agent, and Atma is superior to the gunas. Then, then, saha madbhavam adhigacchati. That one attains madbhavam, my state. Okay. So very simple. One who has the knowledge of the self sees the gunas are the doers of action and sees themselves as superior compared to the gunas. Okay, so they're different from gunas and they're higher, supreme compared to the gunas of the Prakriti. Because our qualities are better than the qualities of gunas, qualities of Prakriti. Then that person attains my state, Lord Krishna is saying. Okay, so Lord Krishna didn't say, again, wherever this context is coming, reiterating, Lord Krishna didn't say they will become Paramatma, they will become God, or they will merge with me. So there's always Lord Krishna said, they will attain a state equivalent to me. Okay, so in the pure state, Atma is having the qualities equivalent to Paramatma, except for a few that are specific to Paramatma only. Okay. Most important thing is the Atma is always considered as subservient to Paramatma. Atma is not independent. Atma is dependent on Paramatma, no matter which state they are in, including the state of liberation. It is always serving Paramatma. So that's the difference, main difference. So one who has this knowledge of the self, they consider gunas are the actions and they are superior to gunas. They are not attached to the effects of the gunas. They will attain my state. Right? Because what we have is superior compared to something that is in the market. We don't go and buy it. Right? We don't think of, say, getting that. Isn't it? We don't develop that attachment towards those inferior qualities. That I want those things. No. We are superior compared to them. So why do we want them? Isn't it? Okay, the next sloka 20. Listen. गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन्
गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन्
देही देहसमुद्भवान्
देही देहसमुद्भवान्
जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैः
जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैः
विमुक्तो मृतमश्नुते.
विमुक्तोऽमृतमश्नुते
Let's chant together.
गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन् देहि देहसमुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैः विमुक्तोऽमृतमश्नुते
Lord Krishna is saying, Etan trin gunan atitya. Gunan etan atitya trin. So, etan trin gunan. These three qualities, atitya is after transcending, after overcoming, surpassing, going above. That means not being attached to them, right? Not being attached to the effects of the three gunas. So after surpassing these three gunas, deha samudbhavan, they're born, they're generated in the body. Okay? They're deha samudbhavan qualities. What happens after transcending these three qualities? Dehi, the embodied self, the one who is residing in Deha is Dehi, is Atma or Jivatma. Vimuktaha is liberated. Okay? After surpassing these three qualities, that Atma is liberated. Liberated from Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkaihi. Birth, death, old age, and so basically these three are the associated with sorrows, dukkha's. Okay, so Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkaihi. This the sorrows associated with the birth, death, and old age. Okay. Or the sorrows, I mean, the birth, death, and sorrows that are associated with birth, death, and old age that are associated with sorrows. Amrutam asnate. So what happens after being liberated from the birth, death, and sorrows? Birth, death, and old age that are associated with sorrows. After liberating from them, Amrutam asnate attains Amrutam state. So that is pure state of Atma. Okay. So basically, to attain the pure state of Atma, one needs to transcend these three gunas. So pure state of Atma is basically one which will not take birth again. That so that one is liberated from births and deaths. Okay, liberated from the sorrows associated with the birth, death, and old age. Okay, so what is that Lord Krishna is teaching us so far? So recognize that Atma, that is we, are different and superior compared to the gunas, the three gunas. The first thing. Okay. Second, do not run after the effects of the three gunas. And third is focus on Atma and Paramatma. Okay.
Gita Garu?
Yeah.
So Jara Dukham ante musaltanam, right? Old age. What can we
Jara is old age. Yeah. Dukkha is sorrows.
I mean, one is the age, one way of measuring. Otherwise, what is the like standard measurement, sir? Like no, musaltanam need not be like we cannot say only 70-year-old is musali, right? Is like a vanaprastha is like consider musaltanam, old age. I mean, we
Good
can say
point.
people die.
In all the so if you let us say take somebody's lifespan, right? Where we have more problems in life? Any guess?
I mean, even a young person also can have so many, depending on his mental status. So
We have to ask one who is having the old age. They will know that they have the majority of the problems compared to any other time in their life.
because we feel bad if somebody won't even attain musaltanam, right? Old age and they die. There could be two reasons. Either, he might have attained moksha, or, or the issue, like he might have died because of something.
So, I mean, typically, no matter what age somebody lives, it is always a separation. It's a problem. Okay. But when one becomes really old and then they pass away, we may think that, okay, they had a good life, and now we start seeing them as they cannot take care of themselves and all that. So and they do not have all the responsibilities, right? The responsibilities go down, so that feeling will go down a little bit. right? So from from others' perspective, situation is different. Like we are only looking at that person from, okay, this person lived enough, and really old, cannot take care of themselves, so now are having some problems. So it's okay to, the pain will be less compared to somebody who is passing away young, right? So that is fine. But basically, if you look at the problems that somebody has, if you, not talking about somebody who wants, uh, like who has lot of desires and running after them, may have issues any time of the life, right? If they are not able to get their desires fulfilled, or getting into troubles because of that. So that is different. But if you take young age, body is good, right? Till one hits that old age, we do not even think about our body. Okay. Once the problems with body hit, right, everything else becomes small, because those are something that you cannot avoid. See, if I have a desire for something and I am not able to attain it, or if I lose some money, or I may gain some money. So it's all transitor. It's not something that we need to worry about it too much. But somebody who has a health problem, you know, that health problem doesn't go away. It is so painful, right? So maybe that's the reason why Lord Krishna mentioned old age as, specifically, right? So old age that is associated with, health problems and other problems that we get in because of old age. So
Irrespective of what person thinks, some people, even though they're 80 plus, they have full energy, but still, because their body is not permitting them to do certain things, we can call that as a jara dukkam, not in a sad way, right?
yeah,
Um,
if we are not able to take care of our body, even we see, like when we become sick with a fever or something like that, really feel miserable, right? Compared to other problems that we may have, like problems with responsibilities or desires, not able to fulfill or something like that. Compared to all that, health problems are the worst. So we would not have that kind of body related problems. We'll be liberated from it. So of course, taking birth, having, going through this mundane life, we cannot avoid, the problems that we have, because we are carrying karmic bondage. We are supposed to experience those, that karmic bondage. But um, but the if we are at old age, naturally the body doesn't cooperate, and it it causes a lot of pain.
that
So that is physical pain. There could be other other pains as well. Um, Only old age people probably understand. So Lord Krishna is saying that one who is transcending these three qualities will attain a state, that's in a state of liberation, where they would not have to go through these sorrows related to um, birth, death, and old age. Okay. I think 9:25. So yeah, we'll conclude here. Any questions? Anyone? This is a very good I mean, learning about the qualities is very essential, directly applicable for our life, right? So again, we will also learn about Daivasara Sampati Vibhaga Yoga. We'll also learn some more qualities there. And Lord Krishna is going to describe Yajna, Dana, and Tapas as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas categorizations of those. And so we'll learn a lot of qualities from now onwards, which we can apply in our life. And we have to, of the three qualities, Sattva quality is the one that we need to develop, right? But we should not be attached to the effects of the Sattva quality also. That is, we have to transcend that also. So that is the key. Okay. We'll conclude with the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha mansendriyeva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yajjat sakalam parasmai narayanaye samarpayami Srimanarayanaya samarpayami Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Jai Srimanarayan.
Yes.
Jai Srimanarayan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Jai Srimanarayan.
Yes, Shima.